Thank you, John. He remains in the Duval County Jail tonight as the prime suspect in the disappearance of toddler Lonzie Barton back in July. And tonight, Ruben Ebron could be facing still more legal trouble. Today, the state attorney's office granted our public information request and released more than 30 minutes of profanity-laced audio recordings of Ebron. They are calls he made from jail to the mother of his 3 children, defying a court order that he not contact her. Channel 4's Ethan Callaway is joining us live tonight with what this could mean for Ebron moving forward. Ethan?
Tom, we spoke with a local attorney about what was said in those phone calls, but more specifically, how they could impact Ebron's case.
You lie, you're lying on me, you're keeping my kids from me, you're playing a dirty game. So if you wind up in a ditch, I swear to God, it ain't from me.
That's what Ruben Ebron had to say to the mother of his 3 children before Lonzie Barton disappeared. After his arrest, the calls kept coming. Police say he called her 31 times from the Duval County Jail. That experts say could mean big problems for him in court.
Every time he does that is actually a first-degree misdemeanor. So theoretically, he could be punished just by this alone by 30 years in jail, year after year after year consecutively, in a ridiculous sort of concept.
We spoke with Jacksonville attorney Randy Reep, who is not affiliated with Ebron's case. He says the calls could lead to more than just time in prison for Ebron in the short term.
What he's demonstrated is the inability to live in accordance with the laws that prescribed him, specifically not to contact her. So if the state would argue, if he were out on bond, he'd violate any conditions because there's a condition in place that he's attempting to get around.
I just wish that if you're covering, or if you knew something, that you need to say it, because our kids, no matter if you get time, you're going to do time. But it shows the type of person that you are, and it'll show your kids that my dad really does care for me.
The jail calls, placed in 15-minute increments, could also end up being played to a jury.
I would anticipate that you'll see much more jail calls and much more interesting things come out of that, because as defendants get more and more isolated, they cling to the people that will talk to them on the outside, and it's very interesting, the dynamic of when people start to say things.
And it's important to note whether or not that woman wanted to talk to Ebron in those phone calls is irrelevant, Reep says. He says either way, that injunction was still violated, and Ebron could pay the penalty for that. We're live at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office tonight. I'm Ethan Callaway, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Ethan. Lonzie Barton's mother is scheduled to be in a Baker County courtroom tomorrow morning in another hearing over the custody of her 5-year-old daughter. This is video of a previous court appearance. Last month, a judge ordered the little girl to stay with her grandmother for the time being. Right now, Lana Barton is out of jail on bond as she awaits trial on charges of child neglect and giving false information to police as they investigated her son's disappearance almost 2 months ago. Tomorrow's hearing was set to allow her and her estranged husband, Chris Barton, their attorneys, and the Department of Children and Families to come up with a custody agreement.